Hey, it's MK, and I am here to finish a layout that I created, or I started creating, I should say, over on Dottie About Flair. I was doing a live for them, showing them different backgrounds for mixed media, and I started this layout, and then I thought, it's going to take a while. So I'm going to finish the background using these Distress Oxides and some Blender brushes. I've got Wilderness, Rustic Wilderness, and Vintage Photo. Those are the two colors that I'll be using to finish off my background. And then I have a whole bunch of die cuts, and I kind of squirreled when I was showing you guys all the product that I just started organizing it and didn't really show you guys all the product. So I have die cut trees, die cut pine needles, some tags that are just randomly left over. I have these two cut files from the Creative Cuts Club that I plan on using. And then I've got some memorabilia that I have actually saved from this specific trip. Actually, I didn't save it. I went to one of their little souvenir shops and purchased a sticker and a patch. And then that way I was going to be able to have something that is a little bit more personal to the page rather than just throwing random stuff on the page. So I also have these two pieces. I believe they are Vicki Boutin, her new collection, the Fernwood collection. And then the first green piece that I showed you guys, I'm going to just use it as the background or the photo mats for my photos. And that is the Bo Bunny double dot paper. Now what I'm doing is taking my blender brush because I just thought that it was too white. I did not like how white it was. So I'm taking my blenders and just smudging on ink. I really have no plan, no expectation, nothing. So I'm going to do a little bit first and then a little heavy in certain places. And I'm just going back and forth between the green brush and the brown brush. So that way I get a good mix and it doesn't look like I purposely did it. Then I'm going to take some water and splat it in my hand and then just drop it in, kind of like fling it with my fingers and just wipe it up with some paper towel. That way I get that lifted ink look. That I absolutely love by Distress Inks. I mean, I know that Catherine Puller inks do this as well, but Distress Inks were kind of like, the first ones that I know of. And so anyways, I love that effect. And one of the reasons why I just absolutely continue to purchase the Distress Inks. Anyways, spieling over with, I am doing the same thing on the other side because it's double page. I actually kind of like how it looks almost like a camouflage, to be honest. And then I'm going to just ink the top and the bottom of this pattern paper so that way it kind of looks like the bottom piece as well, or the base piece. I didn't ink the center because I wanted it to look like it was all the way across. Now at first, the reason why I ripped this paper, you guys are probably like, why did she put the two ends together that don't match up? I did that because I thought that I was going to have those papers on the edge of my on the outside edges instead of in the center. So by the time that I actually got all my supplies together and everything the way that I wanted it, I realized that I was going to like the pattern paper on the center more than on the edge. Plus, I didn't want my photos to be on the edges on the pattern paper instead of on the mixed media that I did. So anyways, like I said, I probably need to tell you guys, I created the background by gluing a whole bunch of chipboard pieces. This is like one of my favorite things to do for a mixed media background. Plus it gives depth and dimension. But I glued just a whole bunch of chipboard pieces down on on some watercolor cardstock. And then I turned around and coated the whole thing about 3 times with gesso. So that way I could make sure that all the chipboard is completely covered. And then I took some watercolor markers. They're brush color markers from Altenew. And I just went to town splattering and moving the ink where I wanted it. So that way it kind of outlined the chipboard and did its own thing. I mean, there's really no painting involved. And then, of course, because it was just too light, I wasn't liking it. I went ahead and did the Distress ink, which I normally don't do. But I do love how it looks here. In fact, it blends in almost perfectly with this Fernwood paper, I think is what it's called, you guys. I'm sorry if it's not. Anyways, I also had this burlap ribbon going on. I had no idea where it was from, to be honest. It was just, I picked it out a while ago. I actually started this layout in January and I had to pause, and then I misplaced it. In all honesty, I completely forgot where I put this layout because I had a ton of stuff going on all at once. And I finally found it and I thought, you know what? Instead of me just finishing it and then showing pictures, I'm going to go ahead and record it, and then that way they can see how I put it together. So I'll post it up on the Dottie About Flair Facebook group. I'll also post a link here so you guys can go check that out because it's pretty awesome. There's not a lot of people that know about Flair. I'm new to Flair, by the way, but it is one of becoming one of my favorite products. And I use some on this layout so you guys can see what Flair is. All right, so I'm taking these die cut trees. Now these die cut trees are an Elizabeth Craft design, and it's actually one of those, she makes planner page dies. So you cut out the whole thing and it's supposed to go into your planner. However, or a memory album, I should say, a mini memory album. However, what I've been noticing is the shapes that come with those main page dies are just phenomenal. I mean, that's why I buy these dies, is for the shapes that come with them. It's just absolutely crazy. Anyways, I set everything out the way that I thought I was going to lay it. I went off camera and glued it down because it was just pretty much the same thing, me doing it all over again. Put the sticker on one side, added the Flair, as well as took one of those cut files and cut it up and just used it as elements rather than a whole border. And then, of course, I just glued down the word adventure down below, but it says that Flair, I think it says let's get lost, or get lost adventure. So I thought that that was really a cool title, to have it all added together type of deal. All right, these are the close-ups. I absolutely love how this layout came together. It's just a layout that I created, you guys. I don't have a hop. I don't have anything. It was just something that I really wanted to share with you guys, especially putting it together. I've had a lot of questions about those types of backgrounds, and I know it's kind of hard to see it in this because I didn't even realize how much it blended into the pattern paper. In all honesty, I had no clue that it blended in that well. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me today, and I will check y'all later. All right, bye.